Welcome to the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Friday, September 2nd. Over the next couple of days, we will continue to have the hot temperatures and dry conditions over the northern two-thirds of the Great Basin. We will see an increase in winds today along the immediate Sierra front and more so into California. These winds will be gusting between about 25 and 30 miles per hour, but we will see a greater increase in winds, which will also cover a greater area from western and northwest Nevada up into Idaho, with another area of low pressure approaching the region. So these winds will be quite a bit stronger, with gusts between about 30 and 40 miles per hour, and very dry conditions with single digit to low teen relative humidity. On Sunday, these winds will remain in some of the same areas, but will decrease a little bit in wind speed. May see a couple thunderstorms over far southern areas of the Great Basin, but for the most part, hot and dry conditions will continue with near record temperatures. No significant precipitation or anything across the area with lightning, just a few lightning strikes in Utah yesterday. Great Basin fire activity was light, with 13 new fires reported, all on the smaller side, but we do have a few fires that were slightly bigger over in eastern Idaho. Over the last 7 days, very dry conditions have continued over much of Idaho into northern and western Nevada, with more spotty precipitation over the eastern half of the Great Basin. ERCs continue to climb across the region and are now at record levels over parts of central Idaho, and are quickly on the rise even over parts of northern Utah, which will likely be above the 90th percentile within the next day or two. Otherwise, again, drying conditions with increasing fire danger region-wide. 100-hour fuel moisture again has been dropping across the area, even into parts of Utah and southern Nevada that have been on the wetter side of the monsoon moisture recently, and obviously over Idaho into western Nevada, still the most critical areas. This is our water vapor satellite loop from this morning. You can see the strong ridge of high pressure across the west with a very dry air in place. These brighter orange colors are just really dry air at the mid and upper levels. So again, just showing not only dry air at the surface, but just very dry air at all levels across the Great Basin. As we move into this afternoon, again, very little change in the pattern. We will see much lighter winds than what we saw yesterday, really across the area, with the only exception being along the Sierra front. As this trough approaches the west coast, we will see those winds increase, but mostly into California. But again, on the far western side, we could see those gusts, maybe a typical afternoon zephyr along the Sierra front, maybe a little bit stronger. Otherwise, high risk continues in the north for the hot and dry and unstable conditions. As far as relative humidity, we will see many areas seeing single-digit relative humidity today, and you can see those wind gusts, again, just brushing the Sierra front on the east side, but again, most of those gusty winds a little bit further west, with a significant decrease in winds for Idaho today. As we move into Saturday, this is where the next trough of low pressure swings into the Pacific Northwest and northern Idaho. This will bring the increase in winds, so we have a fairly large area, especially due to the very dry conditions, single-digit relative humidity, and poor overnight recoveries. This increase in wind will certainly be significant on our ongoing incidents and also any new incidents that pop up. Relative humidity, again, very little change in the single digits region-wide or low teens. And you can see that increase in winds from northwest and western Nevada up into Idaho especially, which is where we'll see those wind gusts above 35 or 40 miles per hour. As we move into Sunday, this trough of low pressure moves by to the north and more into Montana and the northern plains. However, still breezy southwest winds to west winds will continue across Idaho into northern Nevada. Right now, we don't have any high risk for winds, as these winds will be less than the winds we'll see on Saturday, but still that high risk for the very hot temperatures and dry conditions. Relative humidity remains in the single digits to low teens. Again, you can see from the image on the right, the wind gusts, still breezy in some of the same areas, but the wind gusts more in the 25 to 30 mile per hour range from Idaho into northwest Nevada. No real significant precipitation expected across the Great Basin. As we move into Monday, still that ridge dominates the Great Basin with very hot and dry conditions. You can see many areas of even eastern Nevada into southern Nevada and even the northern half of Utah seeing that moderate risk of large fire, that brown category, on our significant fire potential map. Otherwise, the heat continues in the north. Finally, by Tuesday, Wednesday, the heat might start to subside a little bit as that ridge is pushed to the east with a stronger trough that will be approaching the northwest coast. As we move into Wednesday and Thursday, the main risk will be winds as this trough moves in, but right now models are pretty inconsistent with how they're bringing this low in. We certainly could see some periods of stronger winds, but we'll continue to monitor that. Otherwise, dry conditions in the meantime. We will be watching this tropical feature down over the southern portion of the Baja Peninsula. As that tracks further north, we actually could see some moisture pulled into the Great Basin going towards next weekend. But again, that remains to be seen, and that's pretty far off. But certainly something we'll be watching, as any moisture into the basin would certainly be needed across the area. Otherwise, the 7-day total precip, no really significant precipitation for the area. And the 8 to 14-day outlook, taking us from September 9th through the 15th, shows warm temperatures still, a near normal precipitation, may see that wetter signature in the south. Also, depending on any tropical activity, we'll see how that plays out for areas of the Great Basin going into the middle of the month. That concludes our webcast for today. Check back tomorrow for the latest updates.